Welcome to the University of Michigan Dentistry Podcast Series, promoting oral health care worldwide.
There aren't a lot of professions in which you go in and you discover something new and that you're really creative. And that is really what's exciting about chemistry. That's where the fun is.
And I think the reason I picked this job and the reason I love it so much is because each day is really different. Each case is different, and I really enjoy coming to work.
I think that the new frontiers of chemistry are fascinating. The new genetic engineering and molecular biology kinds of things. They may say biology, they may say physics, they may say science, they may say technology, but underneath it's all chemistry.
What do permanent press clothes, heavy-duty plastics, and animal vitamins have in common? Chemistry. What about toothpaste, fertilizers, and shatterproof glass? Again, chemistry. And latex paint, perfume, food additives, and paper. They're all products that exist because of the science of chemistry. Chemists have contributed to the development of many of our necessities and some of our luxuries, and they are moving us further into a high-tech future. For example, chemists do research on new and more efficient fuels that can take us to Albuquerque or to the moon. Chemists develop new medicines that can help those of us who suffer from cancer or the common cold. Chemists help develop stronger metals for construction, and they use their skills to improve our environment. Chemists help us recreate and restore the past by preserving works of art and archaeological finds. Chemists synthesize, purify, analyze, research, and teach. They also manage departments, write, sell, and act as consultants to a variety of professionals. Chemists work in many settings: government agencies, hospitals, universities, and private industry. Women account for about 20% of this country's chemists, and that figure is growing every year. Many women have long known the benefits this field provides. Jeanette Brown, an organic chemist for Merck Sharp and Dome Research Laboratories in New Jersey, enjoys the creativity and challenge a career in chemistry offers. Her work involves making new compounds that may someday be used as drugs. Jeanette has a master's degree in organic chemistry.
I knew what I was going to do almost by the time I took high school chemistry. As a young child, or child really in junior high school, I was interested in science, and I read some books about science, and I took the elementary science course. And so I knew that I was going to be a scientific career. My high school advisor, she said, I told her I was going to be a chemist, and she said, "You're going to teach." I said, "No, I'm going to work in industrial chemistry." Well, I think she was trying to steer me away from an industrial job, because she probably knew, not that there were few women in the field, but there were very few blacks in the field, and then she probably thought, well, maybe that my best decision would be to teach, and that's what my mother wanted me to do too. She wanted me to be a teacher, but I decided no, I was going to be an industrial organic chemist. Specifically, I'm a medicinal chemist, so what I'm doing is making different kinds of molecules. For example, penicillin is a drug which is made by fermentation. But we have chemists in our department who are taking the basic structure of penicillin and varying it so that you can make a better penicillin than the microbes can make. So I'm making compounds, the biologists test them, they tell me what kind of activity it has, whether it's good or it's bad, and then I change the structure to try to make it better. Organic reactions take a long time. They sometimes take 12 hours or overnight or whatever, or even if they take a short time, if you sit up early in the morning, then you can finish it, what we call work it up, before you go home. And if I have some other projects that I want to start, I may go to the library and do a literature research on a new project, or even the compound that I'm working on now, try to determine what new structures or new ways of making it. So I might do that. So that's a typical day.
Some chemists use compounds to test for the presence or absence of other chemical properties. Donna Metzger and her husband David are both forensic chemists for the Illinois Department of Law Enforcement Scientific Services Bureau. The Bureau is an independent testing agency that examines evidence for proof that someone did or did not commit a particular crime. Donna, who has her master's degree in forensic chemistry, works in the serology laboratory at the Bureau.
Serology is the analysis of physical evidence that's brought into the laboratory in criminal cases, and it deals with blood, semen, other body fluids like saliva and urine, and also in this state it deals with hairs and fibers. And so I would be analyzing for those things in the evidence that's brought into the laboratory. We utilize the microscope quite a bit in that for hair examinations, the microscope is the way to compare a known standard of hair with an unknown hair that you might find off of a piece of clothing or something like that. So the microscope is used for that. In cases dealing with blood, again, the microscope is used, and also typical biological equipment that you might see in a biology lab in high school. It's very important that any member of the crime laboratory be able to testify well in court, because no matter how good a job you do analyzing the evidence, if you can't get the information across in an understandable and believable manner to the jury, it doesn't matter what you did, because no one will believe you, or they won't understand you and they'll just discount your evidence. So it's very important that you know how to testify well. So because of that, we go through a week-long training course just in court testimony. And we practice testifying on mock cases or pretend cases in front of a videotape, and we watch ourselves, and experienced people who have testified in court view the videotapes with us and give us suggestions as to how we can be better witnesses and explain our results more clearly to people.
Many chemists combine careers in teaching, administration, and research. Karen Morse is a chemist whose own research concerns the nature of chemical bonds. She now also heads the Department of Chemistry and Biochemistry at Utah State University, where she has taught chemistry to college students for a number of years. Karen has a PhD degree in chemistry, is married, and has 2 sons. Her husband, Joseph, an inorganic chemist, works in the same department his wife heads.
The kind of research that I'm doing now involves trying to establish the characteristics of an unusual kind of a bond. Several years ago, we were fortunate enough to produce a kind of compound that had never been seen before. So what we've been doing in the last few years is trying to determine what conditions we need in order to have this bonding occur and how it behaves. And it's led us into a number of different kinds of studies. And one study that we're moving into at this point, which resulted from our previous studies and also my sabbatical leave last year, was some metal complexes which may have potential as anti-arthritic and anti-tumor drugs. Well, the amount of research that I'm doing myself is limited because of the fact that I'm directing people in research And this necessarily involves consultation with them, knowing what they're doing, keeping track of what they're doing, and evaluating what they're doing. The administrative duties as a department head of the Department of Chemistry and Biochemistry at Utah State involves a number of different facets, ranging from students coming in wanting to know what courses they should take, to students perhaps having concern about the way a course is being taught, to faculty members wanting to talk to you about changes that take place in the department or what they perceive as problems in the department.
Most managers of departments at universities or in private industry have done research of some kind. Women chemists with relevant experience, an ability to work well with people, and good organizational skills have been able to move up the ranks in university faculties and in industry. In private industry, women may move up into management, training or marketing positions where they develop strategies for selling new chemical products. Helen Free is Director of Marketing Services at Miles Laboratories. Before her move into management, she helped develop rapid and easy-to-use tests for substances in body fluids. Helen began working as a chemist right after she received her bachelor's degree. She then went back to school much later for her master's degree in management. Helen is married and has 6 children.
When I went to school, I was all hepped up about Latin and English and languages, and I was going to be a Latin teacher when I went to Worcester. And that was in September of 1941. And when Pearl Harbor happened in December, we happened to be sitting at dinner one time, and the house mother decided to talk about what kind of opportunities there would be for women. And she said that nowadays, with all the fellows going off to join the Army, that there'd be a lot more women needed in science. And Helen, how about you? Wouldn't you like to be a chemist? And I said, sure. So I did. Just like that. Marketing Services and the Research Products Division includes 3 subgroups. One is advertising and promotion, one is market research and information, and the third is market development. And I have 2 people working for me who do the market research and information and who do the advertising and promotion. So far I haven't been able to hire anybody to do market development, but I like it so well I do it myself anyway. For advertising and promotion, we have a series of exhibits that we do at different scientific meetings. And we also produce a catalog, a quality line, which is a newsletter that we produce on a quarterly basis, and a myriad number of product profiles and other kinds of materials, as well as advertising in scientific journals. Being in marketing services means that you have to meet with a whole variety of different people. The thing I like most about my job is that the market development thing is an exciting kind of place to be. I consider it my job to take things that are new, make them into routine testing, and spread them out all over the hospital, clinical centers all over the world.
Although each of these women possess different talents, different levels of college education, and different responsibilities, they all share a commitment to chemistry. Often this interest begins early with a talent for putting things together and a curiosity for how things are made. There are other personal characteristics of a good chemist.
To be successful in chemistry, you must have patience. When you're in undergraduate courses and you do laboratory work, everything's been tested and it all works. But when you get into research and you get into industrial research, it may or may not work. So you have to have patience to try to figure out if it didn't work, why it didn't work, and what's going on. You also have to have perseverance. You should also be technically minded, good with your hands, good with working with your hands, because chemistry involves manipulation of things.
High school students interested in a career in chemistry should prepare early by taking a minimum of 1 year each of chemistry and physics, and at least 4 years of college preparatory mathematics. As with most fields, chemistry involves interaction and communication with people, so English and speech courses are also important. So are courses in computer science and a foreign language, especially German. A career in chemistry begins with a bachelor's degree, which usually takes 4 years to complete. The first 2 years of college are usually devoted to introductory courses in the humanities, math, and the sciences, especially chemistry. The last 2 years concentrate mainly on advanced chemistry courses and require a lot of laboratory time. Many students go on for an advanced degree right after graduation or after they've worked a few years. In graduate school, students can specialize in one area of chemistry or go into a related field such as toxicology. A master's degree usually requires 1 or 2 years of school beyond the bachelor's degree. A PhD degree requires 2 to 3 years of additional schooling and involves conducting an original research project. Chemists with advanced degrees work in jobs requiring more expertise and responsibility. They also usually earn better salaries. More information about high school and college requirements can be found in the brochures accompanying this videotape.
Very important in high school, in order to get into college and to major in chemistry, you have to have the math background. So to take the academic or the college math courses, which is at this time is even calculus courses, and don't be afraid, math is not arithmetic. I'm not good in arithmetic, but I'm good in math. So don't be afraid about math courses. They're not that hard if you pursue.
Including labs and lecture classes, I attend probably 20 to 24 hours a week. I study 30 to 40 hours a week, although some weeks I may only study 20 hours and some weeks I'll spend all of my time in the library. It varies a lot, but on the average probably 30 hours.
This is advice for anyone who's going to go into industrial chemistry. It's good to get a summer experience or an intern or a co-op experience, because it helps when you want to get a job, a permanent job, because they will know that you've not only been in the academic setting, but you've also been in an industrial setting and have seen the modern, sophisticated equipment.
Right now, where I work, I am the quote-unquote lab assistant. I clean the glassware, I do all the paperwork, I do all the ordering. If anything goes wrong, they come to me and say, "You fix it." This summer, I also had the chance to tear down and put back together a $15,000 solvent pump. I thought it was interesting because it was not considered unfeminine, so to speak, to get your hands dirty.
As I got into research, I found learned more and more about what chemistry is really about, the excitement of research, the challenge, finding out new things and discovering new things. And then it became even more fun.
Chemistry doesn't mean you're going to slave over a hot Bunsen burner all your life. I think having a degree in chemistry is a good foundation, as I said, for many kinds of jobs. The combination of a bachelor's degree in chemistry and a master's in management can open all kinds of fields. I think particularly in project management, in sales, in administration, and I'm sure too in manufacturing and some of the other more direct line areas of a company.
Many women chemists find they're able to successfully combine their roles as working wife and mother. They also have time for their own interests and hobbies.
Certainly my husband was talk about mentors. Maybe he's a family mentor. But this kind of support that I've gotten, both psychologically and physically, I mean, just taking care of children and taking care of the housework, and running errands and doing things with the children. Very often the wife assumes all that responsibility. It's been a very shared responsibility in our family.
We both handle most of the jobs pretty evenly, and basically I think the one who has time does it. We haven't ever felt the need to have any formal arrangement as to who does the dishes and who does the cooking on Wednesdays and so on. Whichever of us has time, we do what needs to be done. And we tend to do what really needs to be done, and lots of things go undone sometimes. But it's part of our lives, and we don't worry too much about it. I think she's a remarkable lady. I thought so when I first met her, and I still do.
And so you have to come to grips that you're doing the best thing not only for your children, and certainly for your children, and that they have the best care, but you have to think that this is part of my life too. And my children are part of my life, but my work is a part of my life. And giving that kind of perspective to it helps you a little bit in saying, as long as I have my children taken care of, and I feel comfortable with it, then it's going to be all right.
Ask a group of chemists why they chose chemistry as a career, and you'll get a variety of answers. The creativity, the challenge, the diversity of jobs, the problem solving. What then do most chemists have in common? Chemists love their work.
What do I like about chemistry? I like everything about chemistry, I think. I think the fact that chemistry is involved with any kind of science in the whole world and any kind of non-science in the whole world. The fact that chemistry is the underlying basis of all kinds of science and technology.
There's a lot of independence. I have to make a lot of decisions on my own. There's a lot of responsibility, and I pretty much control my day and the way it goes, and I just really enjoy that.
I'd recommend chemistry as a career for young women today for a number of things. You can simply talk about it in a very practical sense. There are going to be jobs. We're simply not training enough chemists in this country today to be able to take care of all the responsibilities that chemists are going to have to provide in the future, not only in teaching, but also in research, in industrial situations. I'd recommend chemistry because chemistry, quite frankly, is just exciting.
You've been listening to a presentation from the University of Michigan School of Dentistry, which is dedicated to supporting open learning and open educational resources. This recording is licensed under the Creative Commons. It may be reused and redistributed for nonprofit use. Please attribute materials to the University of Michigan School of Dentistry and redistribute under this same license. For more information on how this and other University of Michigan School of Dentistry recordings may be used, visit www.dent.umich.edu/license.